How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about the Cavs and their passing and how they beat the Thunder soon, but it's pretty rough here in LA. In the description, I'm going to leave some resources of ways you can help or donate if you'd like to people who lost their homes or anything in the fires out here. I'm all right, thankfully. My house just got power and electricity and Wi-Fi back today. There's still a fire that's like kind of closest to us, but we're gonna, talk about basketball instead as to not think of that. But really appreciate all the support. I'm gonna try to post whenever I can. It's good to have some kind of normalcy, and something that's not normal is how the Cavs passed the ball. They beat the Thunder in this incredible game. We're gonna note first, obviously, you have just like a regular pick and roll, you'd kind of think, right? But instead of running just like a regular spread pick and roll, this was the first play of the game, I would believe. The Cavs first have Wade screening, and what this is going to do is just complicate Cason Wallace's assignment, basically. So Allen is rolling at Cason Wallace, but Cason's man is sprinting to the corner, right? So Cason's instinct is to sit down and help, but because Wade is moving behind Cason, it's a lot more difficult to target and keep track of a moving target versus a stationary one. And once again, as I don't think I asked for like, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. By the way, it doesn't really feel weird. But anyways, back to the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what I'm on right now, but the short roll passing from both Mobley and Allen in this game were phenomenal. They were the difference makers in this one, along with Darius Garland, but OKC played a lot of really aggressive coverage on Mitchell and Garland, right? They have Dort chasing around, and they have Hartenstein stepping up. Basically a double, leaving this space over the top for Allen, who throws another excellent pass on time to Dean Wade, who had a really nice game as well. One of my favorite underrated role players in this league. He was on my top defender series, or at least an honorable mention. But Allen got in on the alley-oop party as well as the receiver on quite a few of these plays, and I believe this was an inbounds play that got cut off, but just simple two-man action, right? Lob in space. Allen's one of the best lob finishers and lob catchers in the league, which, of course, makes Cleveland's passers so much easier. And the Cavs are really good in early offense. This is a great job by Jarrett Allen to notice he has a mismatch if he just sprints down and seals Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, twists, finishes. Strus, who had an awesome game, was hitting his threes, really quick decisions, passing off the ball, which we will get to. And the two-man game between Garland and Allen is just lethal. It's been lethal pretty much the whole time they've been together in Cleveland, but especially this year with how these two are playing. Cason Wallace aggressively denying this inbounds pass, right? Allen is going to get the ball, and he's such a great processor and court processor. Immediately knows that Garland, because they have so much chemistry, is going to just sprint into the space. Garland is amazing with these give and goes off the inbounds and not. And Garland's way too quick for any of those defenders on the floor for OKC. This is a kind of oddly weird defensive lineup with Jay Will and Hartenstein and Wiggins. But anyways, injuries will do that too. The Cavs did well to like run some set plays as well to get their guys to their spots. Love this little like mid-range pin action. Mitchell's going to set a screen for Mobley to come up for a mid-range jumper. Like, I love that. That's fun. I don't know. I think Kenny Atkinson is really great in part because he is just awesome at accentuating his players' strengths. Like, Mobley is an awesome, 10-foot jumper with his height and his high release. Let's run plays to get him in those spots, right? When a lot of coaches, quote-unquote modern offense philosophy, it's like, why are you running pin downs for your center in the paint? But there are real reasons. And OKC went to zone for a good amount of this game. I'd like to look at actually the zone numbers on Synergy or something. I should have done it before this video. But the Cavs passing basically shredded this zone for a lot of the game. Just really good, quick ball movement. You can see there's no hesitation with any of these guys. It's crazy how many great passers the Cavs have racked up on this roster. Pretty much everyone processes the floor at least reasonably well for their position. And man, Ty Jerome was enormous. I really like how the Cavs initiate a lot of their stuff with the pass. Because pressure defense is kind of a trend in the NBA right now, a lot of teams are picking up full court and just not allowing teams to get into their actions. The Cavs are going to counter this by using a dribble handoff right here with the Coro to get Ty Jerome free into the double drag and then Hartenstein and drop. Ty Jerome is just a demon against drop coverage. You really shouldn't. But the way to beat Ty Jerome is to switch because he can't beat anybody off the dribble, unfortunately. But man, if you play him in drop, he's just so sick. Cavs so good at these empty side two-man games, and here's something interesting that the Cavs do that I don't think a lot of teams really replicate. So oftentimes the Cavs, when a drive is going on one side, the strong side, instead of just like spacing, trying to like space out as far away from each other as possible, what the Cavs will do is they'll have this man right here, Cora, will lift to the corner, and Jerome will kind of slot cut to the baseline. You'd think this is like bad for spacing, right? Jerome cutting in, but really what it does is create a much easier passing outlet when oftentimes Jerome's defender, his instinct's going to be to come up and help, which allows Strus to fire an excellent pass into Jerome for a cutter. And they had so many of these beautiful little cut plays we'll get to. And whew, just Garland diming up Allen. Garland was, I mean, he's been unbelievable this season. I'd probably have him as an All-NBA guy. And his ability to just rock with the ball, maintain it through pressure. And yeah, the Thunder's lack of rim protection was definitely an issue in this game. Of course, they don't have Chet, right? That's going to happen. But especially in the non-Hartenstein lineups, like it was just dunk and lob city for the Cavs in this game. The Thunder really could not stop that. And it's crazy considering how good this defense has been. Another big to big, and you can just see how quickly Mobley processes the floor. I think this was like I think J-Dub or someone was like fell on the floor here. But anyway, advantage situation. You can pretend that someone's trapping Garland here. Mobley, quick process to Allen. Really no wasted motion at all. And that's imperative against a defense like the Thunder that swarm and create turnovers and havoc, right? You have to be quick decision makers to beat that kind of defense, and the Cavs really are that. Once again, we see the physicality of Allen, but more of this OKC aggressive coverage. We talked about this earlier in the video, right? They're hedging out Hartenstein to try to force Garland away, but he's just going to simply pick up the ball, see the open space, and Allen with Cason Wallace. Cason is a great defender, but Allen is a vet, and he is just going to drop step right over those switches. Like, he is so damn good at punishing smaller defenders, and that's a weakness that OKC definitely has to be exploited at times. And here's another example of Cleveland's really good baseline cutting. And I think Mitchell was probably supposed to lift here and didn't, would be my guess based on how they usually run this, right? But like you said, empty side pick and roll. The Cavs do a lot of empty spacing, right? J-Dub is going to step up and try to help. Cason's instinct is to zone the weak side, right? He's expecting there to be a player here and a player here. But Mobley slips in, and I think Mitchell was supposed to fade to the corner right there. But Mobley ended up catching it and laying it in right there. So that's an interesting thing that Cleveland does that I don't see a lot of other teams around the league do as consistently as them. And this was a really cool little zone beater play that I liked. I believe this was the zone, right? Am I tripping? No, this might have actually been. It's just man with like heavy shade. So, right, Cason Wallace is sitting in the gap right here, as to prevent Mitchell from being able to drive into it. That's not what he wants, but because of that, right, he's vulnerable to a swing. So Mobley's just going to come up here, set a screen. Garland, it's like an impromptu kind of flare screen, but Garland's catching the ball early before the screen comes so he can attack off the dribble, and he's able to beat J-Dub, get to the rim, and I believe end up drawing an and one on that play. Garland is just such a demonic off-catch attacker, and once again we see the quick processing of Mobley and Allen just shredding this OKC zone. Immediate decisions, Mobley lobbing it up, and when you have like as good of a rim protector J-Dub as has been this year, right? It's just a lot to expect from him to have to cover Wade right here, potentially sinking into the corner like Cleveland does all the time, and wanting to rotate to protect Allen. Like, that's a lot of ground to cover, even for an elite defensive wing forward like Jalen Williams. I think it's a testament to just how incredibly good the Cavs offense is. So good at like exploiting these little advantages that they're able to get on a defense. Again, I hate these clips get cut off. They ghost screen Dean Wade out here. I think they're running man again here, just kind of with this heavy shade, Garland attacking quickly, and Allen, who truly was the best player on the floor in this game. I think even arguably more impactful than Shea, given the way he defended in this game. I don't know, maybe not, but another great job exploiting this aggressive OKC defense that loves to bring its screen defenders well up to the level, right? They're afraid of Donovan Mitchell, so Kenrich is going to stay up and help, even when that means Mobley can just slip right behind him. This is a great way to beat aggressive, switching, hedging defense just with these simple slips, right? And you can trust Mobley to make the right decision in these spots, to shoot out to the corner, to dunk it himself, to pass on the floater. He's really becoming one of the better players in the league, and this is a big part of it. Another shout out Max Strus, who instantly processes the floor with this kind of tight zoom action. I really like these tight zoom actions just to give these players like less of a runway to help, if that makes sense, as opposed to everything being spread out. There being a player here, so Dort can see this from a mile away and swoop down. Anyways, same kind of deal. OKC aggressive screen defense, especially with Kendrick Williams as the big. They want to switch with J-Dub, but as we know, shout out my pal Nekias Duncan, how to beat slips, how to beat switches, you slip. And the Cavs know that more than maybe any other team in the league. And this is one of the final plays of the game and the final clip of the video. And just a perfect example of what makes this Cleveland team so damn hard to stop. You have to show two at Darius Garland, right? Or at least respect him. And when you have a more traditionalist big like Hartenstein, he's a good mover, but it's hard to just like switch, so you don't want to switch him onto, so you're going to trap, you're going to blitz, you're going to try to hedge back, but Garland is not a player who you can frazzle that easily. He's going to just pass it over the top to Jarrett Allen, and once again, Hartenstein does an incredible job to recover here. Like, this is an underrated, unbelievable play by Hartenstein, and if J-Dub kind of realized this, then maybe he actually could have stayed home on Mobley. But this is what the Cavs do, right? They don't stay home. Because Mobley is a better dunker than he is a shooter, he's going to fill the corner, and that, to me, this is such a good like example of the difference between this year and JB Bickerstaff's team, where last year Mobley probably just sits in the corner on this play, right? And I think you can again see Mitchell once again, right? He's loading up to lift to the corner. He doesn't end up having to do it because Mobley just catches and dunks it. But man, Hartenstein, look at how much ground Hartenstein. He's one of my favorite players in the league to watch. Like, genuinely such an unbelievably good player that, like, he's one of those guys who, like, oh, like NBA Twitter loves Isaiah Hartenstein. Hartenstein. I know people always get mad at me for that, and I always forget Hartenstein. But anyways, Iheart's such a beast. I love watching him move, and the fact that he almost blocked that is unbelievable. But this isn't about Hartenstein. The OKC was great. I mean, they played a great game. It came down to the wire, but Cleveland passed through this defense unlike pretty much any offense I've seen due to the Thunder this year. The way that they move, it's not only the way that they move the ball and how quick unselfish they are, how quick they process, but they have like legit elite creators with gravity who can create off the live dribble and make plays. It's not just like relying on easy buttons like, I don't know, like the post-prime Warriors offense, for example, at times. But man, this Cavs team is so legit. They've been easily my favorite team to watch this year. I'm so excited to keep watching them. I legit think they're a real threat for the title this year. I'm buying what the Cavs are selling. Let me know if you are as well. And once again, consider donating or at least checking out the links to support folks who lost their homes and lost their items and just their property in the fires or who were affected in any way. And I hope if you're one of my LA pals out there, if you're in Southern California as well, hope you're staying safe, and let me know if you are. So